story centres around a little girl called Libby, a 4-year-old little girl who's profoundly deaf and born into a hearing family, so hearing parents and siblings. And the family don't have any education about deafness. So this little girl spends the first 4 years of her life in total isolation and silence, and subsequently is quite troubled and has behavioural problems, and has actually appointed a social worker. And it's not until that social worker comes into the story and we see a beautiful relationship with the social worker and the little girl, but we also see the little girl transform from a troubled, angry kid to a sort of vibrant, intelligent, hungry for knowledge little 4-year-old.
When I read the first draft of the script, I really was blown away. I knew it was special. And because of Rachel's dad, her passion for deafness is undeniable. She really has done some incredible things to raise deaf awareness. You know, she's done skydives, she's trekked the Great Wall of China, she's climbed Kilimanjaro. She's done so much as well as fundraising over the years.
So I did it. I'm standing on top of Africa's highest freestanding mountain. By far the hardest thing I've ever done. I'm just so overwhelmed. 6,000 metres now and we're above cloud level. It's ridiculous. Yay! Oh, they're amazing.
We had really tough days. I mean, we really did, and we had to keep each other going, you know, and our mantra was always, well, what's the worst anybody can say to us? And that was no.
I think the hardest thing about making the film was two elements, the fundraising process and the actual shoot itself. They're both two of the hardest things I've ever done in my life.
And then we turn around back here again and we go for a long shot. I think this was quite a complex short film.
I think it was just a joint kind of can-do attitude that really just made it happen.
The most important thing about making the film was the message and the story, and that we treated that with integrity all the way through. The shoot itself was brilliant, and I had so many pinch me moments because for such a long time it was just me and the idea in my bedroom, and I don't know if I ever dared think that it would ever get to that point. So sometimes I would just catch myself looking at everything and looking at all the actors and people saying the words that I'd written, and that was like a crazy moment.
You know, you do so much rubbish, so much, you know, vast, kind of soulless stuff, and this particular film had heart and soul, and so yeah, I absolutely loved the filming experience.
I'd just like to say the crew were all fantastic. Everybody was very generous, everybody was very concerned. There was an enormous commitment from everyone because it's such an important subject and an emotional subject, and I'm so glad I did it, and I'm sad it came to an end.
When we met Maisie, she honestly changed everything. And I think that she just brought a whole new level of authenticity to the film. And on a bigger scale, you know, she's given a voice through her character to deaf and hearing impaired children across the country. So it's just amazing. It does become a bit of a bigger scale.
Surprised completely. I couldn't believe how a 5-year child can act like this, exactly as a professional adult actor.
Maisie's visual communication is so straight and strong and real.
When Maisie comes on set, you go, this is why I'm doing it, this is why I'm here. And she does an amazing take. And she's probably one of the best actors I've ever worked with. And she's 5 years old, which says a lot, I think. But she's just got to do one scene, one movement, one look, and you just go, this is all worthwhile.
If I think back to the day of her audition, it was a really special day. I think we all had this feeling very quickly that we knew she was our leading lady.
She was a brilliant little actress and continually blew me away throughout the shoot. There aren't enough opportunities for deaf children and deaf adults. And I've seen in numerous projects, and I know that my friends in the deaf community are continually frustrated by, very often production companies and things like that cast hearing people to play deaf roles, which seems crazy to me. So that was obviously something that I was very strong about and that I wasn't going to move on.